Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right, I gotta stop it. All right, we're gonna log into the next video. So we just watched that video of with you know, and so now we're gonna watch this one by the exclusive Ace, where he talks about it. He'll probably go a little bit more in depth. You know, he's the math guy. He's the guy who's like actually really into this shit. So yeah, let's get into it, chat. As always, the video will be in the top link in the description. Go support the original video and content creator. Let's get going. No time to wait.
What's up, guys? My name is Ace, and today we're taking a bit of a break from the Battlefield 6 videos, and instead we're going to be covering some very important Black Ops 7 news, some key changes that were announced yesterday that are going to be taking place for the launch of the game based on tons of beta feedback. And let's just dive right into this with the dexterity changes. As you guys may remember, in the beta build of the game, if you wanted to aim down sight while sliding, diving, or wall jumping, you had to use the dexterity perk. And that made it a crutch for many players out there, and many people weren't really a big fan of that. So Treyarch has decided they're just going to build that back in by default. So when the game launches, you won't need to run a perk in order to aim down sight and slide, dive, or wall jump at the same time. However, it was mentioned that dexterity will allow you to do those things more effectively, so faster.
Is anybody, this is a small, tiny thing. Is anybody else sad that the calling in the UAV thing isn't the Black Ops 2 animation or similar to the Black Ops 2 animation? If this is supposed to be 10 years after Black Ops 2, you tell me they don't have those like wrist thingies? The UAV animation on Black Ops 2 is like one of the most satisfying UAV animations. It's so good. It's like you pull out your watch. It looks so cool. You pull out your watch, just go, and then the UAV gets called in. We've had this like phone shit like on repeat in different ways for the past like 6 years. I want the unique shit back. You know what I'm saying? I think it's
However, it was
to
mentioned
ask.
that dexterity will allow you to do those things more effectively, so faster. Perhaps there will be some like accuracy improvements there as well, using dexterity while performing these actions, even though they didn't
like dexterity in Black Hawk 6, where it like just makes your gun sway less. I don't know.
explicitly state that.
If they do it like
That's how
that,
it works in Black
that's
Ops
fair.
6, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if they keep that characteristic with dexterity as well. But that's great news. That was one of the bigger gameplay-related complaints I saw throughout the beta, alongside a bunch of other perk changes, which we'll get into in just a little bit. There's some really big ones there. But the next thing they shared is they are slightly increasing the footstep volume from the beta build of the game.
I want the TTK to be slightly slower. It's not like Black Ops 6. Like it is, but like you just saw how fast he killed her and how fast he just died. Like, bruh.
And normally with Call of Duty, if I hear that they're increasing footstep volume, I am not going to be happy about that because I don't like it when footsteps are too loud.
Yeah.
However, footsteps were way too quiet in the beta build of the game, in my opinion. It was some of the feedback that I shared as well.
Everybody was saying that, but I can't remember if I had a problem or not. The problem is when I play multiplayer on Call of Duty, I'm usually listening to music and I have the game audio pretty low. So it's probably just that, but I don't know. I think they were more inconsistent than anything.
Too many situations where enemies could sprint right up behind you with no ninja perk on, and you wouldn't hear a thing.
That did happen.
They said they've slightly increased this, and they're happy with where it's at. They were also clear to state that this was just a slight improvement, and essentially they wanted to balance it in a way to where it didn't feel like ninja was a necessary perk. Now, after that, when it comes to the slide,
it is. You have to run it.
They've mentioned
like,
that
I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Like in multiplayer, like that is what it is because everybody has like insane audio shit now. You know what I mean? It's not like back in the day on Black Ops 2 when motherfuckers are playing on their like our 40-inch TV, drinking a beer, you know, and chilling in Search and Destroy. I was eating Wendy's because I was like 12, eating Wendy's and playing. But still, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that anymore. People have, like, the most insane audio shit. So Ninja basically has become a crutch perk.
Slightly reducing the distance and the speed of the slide, but it still feels really good and fluid, apparently. Obviously, we'll have to wait to get our hands on it to see how it actually feels. But that's another thing where I'm on board with this. I think the slide was still a little overboard. And I know there's a certain group of players that are going to be unhappy to see that. But I think for the overall health and balance of the game, this is a good thing, depending on how far they've taken it, of course. I wouldn't want them to take this too far the other direction, but they did state it was a slight adjustment. So time will tell on that one. Next up, something that I've been providing feedback on throughout the life cycle of Black Ops 6, and in the beta for Black Ops 7, I had the same issue. This was to mantle speeds. It just feels like with the pacing of everything else
this has been a problem. What just happened?
going on in the game.
Oh, I hit this? Wait, what? What? I didn't even know there was a thing. Anybody else? Mantle speeds, though, yeah. This has been a problem, I feel like, since MW2. Especially when they implemented that, like, ledge grab thing. The mantle speeds have just been way too slow since then. They never feel fluid, I think is the idea. You know? That's been the issue. You know, I don't want to make them like you don't want to make them like lightning fast, but it's like
mental speeds were way too
kind of
slow.
been off.
It's like you could do so many things so quickly like a super soldier, but if you want to climb over a ledge, suddenly you're an 80-year-old man and everything just slows down.
I still want them to add bee-hopping
back. So they
back.
stated they are improving mantle speeds across the board. I'd also still be fine
really
with that
nice.
being attached to a perk, especially something like dexterity, now that they've effectively nerfed dexterity pretty hard by not requiring it to aim down sight while performing certain actions. I'd be totally on board with that improving our mantle speeds. However, an across-the-board adjustment without any perks, that also sounds good to me. And now let's get into the many perk changes that they've made here, and I'm really happy to see this. So much of this is feedback I provided directly. It's exactly what I wanted to see, so I'm happy about that. Let's first start this off with how they've shuffled perks around again to different tiers. But there's more to it than just this, so just hang in there. As we can see here, these are our new tiers of perks. And we can see Tac Sprinter was moved from tier 3 into tier 1.
I kind of just want them to just erase Tac Sprinter. Like, I just don't want Tac Sprint in the game. I've always said that I think it makes sense in Battle Royale. Like, it makes sense in Warzone to have Tac Sprint. But why the fuck is it in multiplayer? It just does not fit multiplayer. It doesn't fit zombies. It's just, why? What is the point? You know?
Gearhead was moved from tier 2 into tier 1.
It's just a useless
Scavenger
thing to
was
just
moved
throw
out
on
of tier
there.
1 and into tier 2. Same thing with Tech Mask that used to be tier 1, now it's tier 2. Then in tier 3, we now have Dexterity moved from tier 1, and it's much more appropriate in this tier now that it's far less powerful.
Wait, let me see this. Okay, so I'd be running Lightweight, Scavenger. I can run Looper! Praise the Lord! God is! I can actually run Looper, chat. Let's fucking go, dude. Oh my god. Because it's Looper or Bankroll would be my third. Since Dexterity's changed. Bro, that's fucking awesome. That's so awesome. Oh my god.
Looper was moved from tier 2
Why do I keep
into tier 3.
What the fuck
and
is that,
Cold-Blooded,
bro?
thankfully, was moved out of tier 1 and into tier 3 as well. So you can now actually have a full stealth loadout if you use a wild card. You can use Ghost, Ninja, and Cold-Blooded. And I absolutely wanted to see that. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these changes. More importantly, one of the big pieces of feedback I had from the beta, and a lot of this actually applies to Black Ops 6 perks as well, is it seems like many of the perks in the game are far too niche. They feel like half perks. Like, why would I ever use something that's going to maybe help me in the odd situation every couple of games compared to something in the same tier of perks that's going to be helping me consistently throughout a match? So they've taken that feedback into account, and they've actually combined some of the perks, and I like these combinations. So let's start it off with Gearhead. This now also includes the Quartermaster perk. So they removed Quartermaster from the game, moved its effects over to Gearhead, and then now that makes it quite a bit more powerful, it makes more sense here in tier 1. Then with Assassin, this absorbed Vendetta, which I think is another great change. These perks work really well together, and Vendetta was such a weird, weak perk in my opinion. But having the benefits of that just attached to another perk, I think is totally fine and makes way more sense. Then with Close Shave, this perk absorbed the Bruiser perk, which is also excellent. Those go really well together since they're both melee oriented and they're both quite niche as well. I couldn't really see myself using any of these individually on my class, but combined.
Totally random thing you just put out there. Was Looper even in the beta? Maybe I'm just dumb and I didn't look, I didn't pay too much attention, but I don't even remember it being in the beta. I might have just saw it next to Bankroll and just clicked Bankroll because that's what, that's the thing, one of the ones you want to use in Black Ops 6. But I I don't even. Was it in the? I'm so confused. My head hurts.
Maybe that's a little bit more attractive. Then
Oh,
with
it
Engineer,
was
this
tier
one absorbed
2.
the effects of Shadow. So
I'm
not
now
only do you have all the same
I'm
effects
an
that
idiot, bro. What is going on?
we had previously with Engineer, now you also won't trigger enemy deployed equipment that requires a trigger. So that's going to make Engineer a lot more attractive. And then finally, when it comes to Tracker, this absorbed the benefits of Hunter's Instinct as well. And again, this just makes sense. It really seems like they've carefully thought these changes through. I love the fact that they've combined some of these.
Tracker having Hunter's Instinct is sad. Although with these two, because Hunter's Instinct was like one of the best perks, in my opinion, in Black Ops 6. Because being able, no UAV, no radar, just being able to kill somebody and then it points in the direction of the next enemy is like huge information to know.
Perks, it makes it less cluttered feeling, and there are now some more real choices to be making in each of these tiers now that many of these perks have become quite a bit more powerful, with them absorbing the benefits of other previous perks. So overall, I'm very happy to see these changes they're making to perks. This was one area where I never really thought they were going to make any major changes like they did.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we'd see some slight improvements, maybe they'd shuffle a couple perks around,
Right.
but in doing so, we'd never end up with a great perk system. However, now that they've done this is looking significantly better, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing
It
here.
is looking
and at least so
significantly
far,
better.
I'm not seeing any glaring
Absolutely
issues
it
here
is.
with this new structure of their perk system. So very happy with that. Next, let's talk about a big one, Aim Assist. They are looking into making some Aim Assist changes. The first thing they shared here is just some data that they collected from the beta, and I'm not too surprised to see this, but in close quarters engagements, controller players were winning slightly more than mouse and keyboard players, whereas for longer range engagements, mouse and keyboard players were winning slightly more than.
This is the standard for any FPS because it's easier to make minute movements with a mouse. It's easier to do that than it is with a joystick. That's literally just the reason why. Which is kind of why aim assist is a thing, low key. Right there,
Controller
right?
players. And so what they said they want to do
All that it's supposed to be is exactly what its name is, which is aim assist. It's like just a little tiny help when you're trying to track a target, right? It's supposed to be just a tiny help. Fortnite's last aim assist before they buffed it again was perfect. Absolutely perfect. It was so good. Then they buffed it again. I said probably, because all the little Timmies were like, I know I can't aim. But it's so good. In Call of Duty, you don't have to aim. Like you do, but do you? Like it literally. It's not as bad as it was at MW3 and MW2 because the movement's way faster in Black Ops 6. But all I kind of have to do is just hold LB or, whatever your aim is, and then that's it. And by the way, I'm a controller player. I'm not a mouse and keyboard player. So this is coming from somebody. But see, having aim assist nerfed helps controller players too. Because then if you're better at aiming on controller than another person who's on controller, then you win that gunfight. But right now that skill gap doesn't exist because they can just laser you because aim assist is so broken in Call of Duty. It increases the skill gap even for controller players. That's my point. It's very good for the game. It's very, very good for the game. What happened to my audio? Hello?
Close that gap a little bit, and the first and keyboard players.
Okay.
Whereas for longer range engagements, mouse and keyboard players were winning slightly more than controller players. Yeah. And so what they said they want to do is to close that gap a little bit, and the first thing they're looking at is simply adjusting the strength of aim assist across all of those ranges. And to me, since they also said they're trying to close that gap, it sounds like we may be seeing aim assist nerfs in close quarters engagements, and maybe even a bit of a buff to aim assist at longer ranges to close that gap.
Don't do that. No, Chansu, no. Do not buff it. It does not need any buff. Bro, are you kidding me? Just play Warzone. You can just destroy somebody from a long range. What are you talking about? You just aim at them and just track them easily while they're in the air and they just fucking die. You know what I mean? Like, it's
controller and mouse and keyboard in those ranges where mouse
it does not need a buff at longer range, but it does need a nerf.
Winning. That's not all, though. When it comes to rotational aim assist,
if they wanted to keep, I know I'm yapping. If they wanted to keep it, right, the way that it is at long ranges right now, I say keep that. Because I get the needing help with that, right? Keep that, but then nerf the shit out of, like, they did this in Black Ops 6, didn't they? Aim assist gets progressively weaker as you get closer. I'm pretty sure that's in Black Ops 6. But they just do that more, you know? Like, I just shouldn't be able to just lace somebody without thinking about aiming, right? I shouldn't be able to do that in an FPS
looking
game.
into requiring right stick input, so the actual aiming input, not just your
I have an IRL friend that calls aim assist auto aim. He's not saying it as like a diss. He's like, oh yeah, because you have auto aim, you know, like we'll be playing. And he's not saying it as like a, oh, you have auto aim. Not one of those people. He's just calling it auto aim. He's just calling it that. That's the name he's calling it. That's how bad it is. Even casual, regular people don't even call it aim assist. They just, like, it's so bad, dude. It's so bad in Call of Duty. I'm spraying it.
Input. They're looking into making it so you have to be moving your right stick in the direction of the enemy player in order to activate rotational aim assist.
Yes.
Because as it is right now, you don't even need to touch your aiming stick at all. All you have to do is move your feet, and the game will automatically rotate.
Yeah,
to track
you just
enemy
move
players.
the left
That's how
stick.
rotational aim
You
assist
laser
has always
everybody.
worked in Call of
That's
Duty, by
it.
the way. There are some misconceptions surrounding that. Go back to COD 4. It works exactly the same, and it's just as strong within the ranges where it was active. The big buff with Modern Warfare 2019 was the active range was massively increased. But it looks
that is true. Also, you have to keep in mind the controller settings. We have such in-depth controller settings now. That's what really busted this shit wide open, the whole aim assist thing. You didn't used to have dead zone settings, and you didn't used to have the ability to change your aiming sensitivity. It was just vertical. Well, at one point it was literally just one sensitivity. Like, it was just it was just sensitivity, and then it would scale everything with whatever. Now you can change your aim sensitivity, and you can change it per zoom. You could do all of that shit is what really busted the aim assist thing wide open. That's what really changed all the controller settings.
like we are going to be seeing some adjustments to aim assist. However, this was all phrased as this is what we're looking into changing, and they're going to be sharing some more concrete details.
Yeah,
on
I
what
would
they're
imagine
actually
it's
gonna
hard
be
to
changing
balance
soon. But with that, that's going to wrap it up for all of the updates we got yesterday and changes we can expect from beta to launch. And all of this combined with all of the beta changes that they've already announced at the end of the beta, including the fact that our default matchmaking is going to be the matchmaking from the open playlist in the beta, so classic Call of Duty matchmaking, and persistent lobbies are coming back by default as well. When I combine all of that with the changes they've announced here today, I'm honestly out of things to complain about. I can't really think of anything outside of some maybe really small,
it's actually insane,
nitpicky things that I want to see changed outside of what they've
it's like servers, anti-cheat, you know, but those aren't really a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Well, anti-cheat is if you're really good at the game, if you run into those people, but you know, or if you're a competitive player. And then servers changes would be nice. It would be nice to have a higher tick rate servers for sure.
Already mentioned here. Now, to be clear, I'm still a little bit nervous
not like,
and skeptical about the fact that the SBMM changes and the persistent lobby changes we're going to be seeing at launch, and we don't know if that's going to last.
Yeah, if they're going to fuck around with it.
They're going to be trying at launch, maybe to bait some players into buying the game, and then over time, it's going to end up just reverting back.
I swear to fucking God, if they do that, I'll be a Fortnite content creator, bro. Go to Fortnite. That's
matchmaking system we've been dealing with in recent
swapping
years,
over to
as well
Fortnite.
as disbanding lobbies again. Obviously, I do have some concerns when it comes to that, but just based on everything we're seeing so far and how they've been reacting to the feedback, like I said, I'm out of things to complain about. Like, what other bits of feedback did we provide that they haven't listened to and made some solid adjustments to? Once again, I've got to say, thank you, Battlefield. I
was about to say that. I was literally just about to say that. Thank you, Battlefield 6. You saved the game that saved the Call of Duty killer that saved Call of Duty. That's
love competition because I think that's really what's pushing them to be so responsive to feedback.
It is.
I don't think we've ever seen this many.
Nah, because they realized they can't sit on their ass and just shit out another game this year. They realized they had to actually do shit.
Changes from beta till launch for a Call of Duty game. Especially some reasonably deep changes here, too. These aren't just surface level changes in many cases.
No.
So despite the fact that in the community there still seems to be fairly little interest in Black Ops 7, At the end of the day, this game is really shaping up to be like my dream
The
Call
GOAT.
of Duty
Yes.
game.
Yes.
Assuming things go well at launch and that matchmaking's here to stay. And
Yeah, this shit could fall apart. I mean, this happens every year. It totally fell apart. But
persistent lobbies are here to stay. Now, of course, these are just my
But,
thoughts, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about these changes that they just announced yesterday, like to the perks, the aim assist, dexterity, or anything else? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
yeah. W video by the exclusive areas. As I said, go support it. Show some love. Be in the top link in the description. Hell yeah. W.